Pierro. Here is a horse to set the pulse racing. Fast, precocious, unyielding, and the heir to a racing dynasty. Pierro was a $230,000 Magic Millions yearling, but it was when he set foot on a racetrack for the first time that his legend began to gather momentum. The Breeders' Plate, the first 2-year-old stakes race of the season, a stallion-making event. Here was a colt bred to go at least 2,000 metres, up against the most precocious stock in Australia. He was simply too good.
Hidden Warrior neck in front. Pierro is gradually starting to get on level terms on the outside. Pierro stuck its head in front, and Pierro's won it. Has just beaten Hidden Warrior.
He won his first trial very impressively, and he was obviously a bit of a spruik horse leading into that race. And then when he won his Breeders' Plate, it was a phenomenal effort, and you know that's a horse you start to identify straight away as a potential stallion for us.
While the win was impressive, trainer Gai Waterhouse's post-race declaration that we had just seen the slipper winner was the real story. Pierro's next start was in a slipper, the silver version, his first start for the autumn, and it was here that we started to realise that this was a serious colt.
Sousa on the inside, grabbed by Pierro. Pierro in the centre of the track. He was a big drifter on course, but he's taken the lead, and he'll win the silver slipper. Pierro goes on to beat Sousa. Kyria got third.
Pierro next accounted for future dual Group 1 winner Epaulet in the Todman Slipper Trial, showcasing what would become a trademark will to win.
He just kept fighting, and he put his head down, and he just really let go. And as Nashua Willer said, I mean, he's a tremendous will to win, and that's what you need in those fighting qualities in a 2-year-old, and he brought that right through to the end of his 2-year-old campaign.
Pierro may have carried saddlecloth number 1 in the Golden Slipper, but he wasn't favourite. However, the colt looked better than ever in the mounting yard, and in Australia's ultimate stallion-making race, he proved the naysayers wrong, and his trainer absolutely right.
Pierro chasing it down along the inside, and then Raceway followed by Ashakan. Samaritti's making ground late. It's Pierro coming after Stitzerland. Pierro drove through, took the lead in the slipper. Gay told us months ago, and Pierro won it from Stitzerland and Samaritti.
His slipper run was fantastic. He put himself in the run. He fought the whole way to the line. I mean, it was a crack field, as we always know in the slipper. It's the best of the best, and he proved that he was the champion 2-year-old on the day.
Amazingly, in the Sire's Produce Stakes, Pierro was still not favourite. That honour belonged to boom colt All Too Hard. The pace in the race was blistering, but while his opponents wilted, Pierro thrived, dismantling a few reputations and Luskin Star's decades-old race record in the process.
But Pierro, this little bulldog, raced up and hit the lead. The unbeaten colt's in front. He's out in advance of All Too Hard, and Pierro does it again. Pierro beat All Too Hard.
The 2-year-old Triple Crown is a rarely achieved triumvirate, even more so for colts. Only Baguette, Luskin Star and Terse, champions all, had achieved the feat previously. Pierro changed all that, thrashing an Oaks winner in the process.
But it's Pierro going for the Triple Crown. He's got it. He's going to join an elite group and remain undefeated. And Pierro goes down to beat Dear Demi. Tatra got third.
Oh, an amazing feat. I mean, to go on and do that, win your Triple Crown, you're breaking a race record, winning the Sires, and then win the Champagne by 3, beating Dear Demi. It just showed his flexibility as a racehorse as well.
Champion 2-year-olds don't always come back at 3, but nothing Pierro did in the early spring of 2012 confirmed that he fit that profile. A few racecourse tune-ups led to a return in the Run to the Rose, where he accounted for Group 1 winners Your Song, Epaulet and All Too Hard in sizzling time. Then it was off to Melbourne. A different environment, direction, time of day and an unfamiliar trip meant nothing to Gay's wonder colt, who drew comparison with Red Anchor when treating his field and the clock with contempt in a race record Bill Stud Stakes. Surely nothing could beat this horse in the Caulfield Guineas. Certainly not All Too Hard, whose halo had slipped since his 2-year-old days. Gay and Team Pierro seemed in no way concerned, but All Too Hard in Melbourne was a different beast.
Pierro in front, All All Too Hard's got his chance. He's coming with momentum. Pierro has to fight. All Too Hard's grabbed him, and All Too Hard has won it. All Too Hard by a half a length, Pierro.
It was a brave run in the Guineas. Nothing went to plan for the horse. It was a tough run. It's well documented and publicised. You know, he probably he did all the hard work, carted the field up, and he was brave right to the line. And again, he showed his fighting qualities. You know, when the winner came to him, he put his head down and really had another go.
A fortnight later, Pierro ran a brave race in the Weight for Age Championship of Australia. On face value, it was a disappointing run, but it's worth remembering that no slipper winner has ever won the plate, and the last time one went as well as Pierro was Canny Lad in 1990. Autumn arrived, and with it, new targets. A brave run in dire conditions ensured that Pierro remained unbeaten in Sydney after the Hobartville. But Pierro had bigger fish to fry. New Group 1, the Canterbury Stakes, would pit him against his elders, most notably stablemate More Joyous. He was equal to the task.
Rainer fair led, but Pierro starting to bear down on it, and More Joyous is coming strongly on the outside, but Pierro, the champion 3-year-old, hit the front. More Joyous is coming after it. It's Pierro, hands and heels in front. He's hanging on. 10 straight in Sydney for Pierro. The champ wins it from More Joyous and Solzhenitsyn.
Afterwards, stand-in jockey Jim Cassidy compared him with equine icon Might and Power. Quite a rap.
Well, when you've got the likes of Jim Cassidy jumping off and saying this is the best horse I've ever ridden, you got to stand up and take notice. You've had Gay declaring the best horse she's ever trained. Now you've got Jim Cassidy saying the best horse he's ever ridden. Again, he needed to be at the top of his game to win that day, and he was.
The Open Company hurdle safely cleared, Pierro had another crack against seasoned opposition.
King Mufasa, he's a multiple Group 1 winner himself. It's the multiple Group 1 winner at Weight for Age as well. Pierro had to show everybody how good he was that day, show his class and his tenacity. He was sitting on the pace. When he kicked, he really had to chase the leader down, and he ran all the way through to the line, and he was dominant in the end.
Pierro's lifting on the outside. He draws level, and Pierro, slipper 1 year, right of the next, goes on to win it from King Mufasa.
The Mile Championship of Australasia, the Doncaster, was always Pierro's autumn target. But the colt would be asked to carry a crushing 57 kilograms. And while in the days leading up to the race, Pierro looked better than ever, on the day, a heavy track created further complications. Pierro started and went out on his shield.
Pierro and Sacred Falls, and then Streamer out in the centre. Here's a great finish. Sacred Falls and Pierro settle down to fight it out. The 3-year-olds, but Sacred Falls beat Pierro. Norziti got third, followed by Streamer.
Heroic defeat, like his sire and grandsire before him, would be the hallmark of Pierro's career finale. He was retired to Coolmore. For owner Greg Kolovos, his pride and joy owed him nothing.
It's hard to put into words, actually. We all get involved in this sport for, the enjoyment and the fun of it and the thrills it might give you and the like and the experience. And he's given all of those to us in spades. Difficult to describe, but it'll be something that ourselves and all of our family and friends. There's hundreds of people that we know that have followed him all the way along, have got experiences that they'll remember forever.
These days, life is pretty sweet for Pierro, and in the lead up to his first breeding season, he is settling in well.
He arrived out to us mid-April, and he's been on the farm since. He took a couple of weeks, obviously, to settle down, but like most racehorses, he's probably used to spelling and that sort of thing, and he's definitely ready for the next phase of his career now.
The similarities between Pierro and his illustrious forebears are hard to ignore. Octagonal, Lonhro and Pierro were all champions, and all sport an attractive dark coat. In fact, like his antecedents, Pierro is also very popular on farm visits.
Since he arrived out here in mid-April, he's had sort of visitors pretty much every day, and everybody likes the horse. You can see why. He's such a good-looking horse himself. He's got a great forearm, strong gaskin, great pelvic length. He's a big, strong, good-looking horse, and he's only going to improve as he lets down and gets a season or two under his belt, and he'll just keep improving physically.
And it's not just physically that Pierro should be a good fit for an array of mares. On pedigree, he should suit the Danehill line to a T, and as a slipper winner, he has history on his side.
He was the horse we identified. He's a slipper winner, he's a Triple Crown winner, he's trained on a 3. He was the logical horse that was on everybody's target, and he's the perfect horse for us to be standing. If you look over the years, there's so many good Danehill line mares that are in Australia. Danehill himself is 7 times champion broodmare sire. He's got so many successful sons at stud. We need to provide an outcross for our breeders. The Lonroad Danehill nick is working so well. On the reverse side of that, you're gonna, you can bring in the Danehill Zabeel cross with all those Fastnet rock mares that are coming through, and it's working so well for him, you know.
Much has been made of Pierro's sire Lonro, but his dam side makes interesting reading. His mother, Miss Right Note, is a daughter of Mill Reefline stallion Daylami. She is also a half-sister to French Group 1 winner Lavarock, the only Northern Hemisphere Group 1 winner by Octagonal. For a horse with such speed, his dam line holds the promise of classic success. And the dams of his future progeny are impressive as well. They include Bonanova, Hurtle Myrtle, Dane Ripper and Piccadilly Circus, the dam of Fastnet Rock, among many, many others. Broodmare owners clearly believe his record fee is worth every penny.
He's a once-in-a-lifetime horse. It's an opportunity to breed to a Triple Crown winning champion 2-year-old. We feel it's a fee that's fair, and the market has agreed with us. He's got a book of mares there. He's a full book of mares, 160 coming to him at the moment. There's still some mares coming through, so we feel we've placed him correctly. He's a horse that his progeny are going to be selling at all the majors, and I mean, I think you'll have trainers and buyers falling over themselves to buy the horse, and he's pitched at a fee that's fair for everybody to get a result.
Pierro thrilled race fans in an all-too-short career, but with his looks, pedigree and the unstinting support of his owners, there is every reason to believe that this champion stud career will appreciate with age.